Thank you all for coming out. I have a plan, which is you're going to be guinea pigs. Every now and then, I get to try things out on people. And the problem that I have with this part of the world is I've come here and read stuff an awful lot. By default, I seem to be somewhere in the Bay Area or in Northern California or somewhere reading something that I've written. And I can yank it. I don't want to yank it forever. This way I can put my hands behind my back and shuffle. I'll do that if you're holding the microphone. So, as I say, by default, I seem to be here reading stuff. And I started doing a little mental list of what I'd read and what I hadn't. And then I asked Mitch to remind me what I'd read the last time I was here. Because I was so sick the last time I was here. Mitch, do you remember? And I started thinking about stuff, and I thought, actually, what I'm going to do is try one piece that hasn't been published yet, and I don't think will get published for about 8 or 9 months, that I've read a few other times, but never did. And then I'm going to try reading a thing that I've never read anywhere. Which I'll tell you when I get to it. And the other thing that I will warn you about on the second thing that I'm going to read is it may be too long. So you may all be sort of shuffling around uncomfortably and praying that it's over. I have never read it from the audience, and I have no idea how long it is. But the first piece I'm going to read you is not terribly long, but it is a short story. And it's a short story I wrote for an editor in Australia called Jonathan Strong, who's a terribly nice man, and for whom I had written a short story called How to Talk to Girls at Parties. And I wrote him the story, and then the anthology that he was going to be publishing in it got put back about a year, which sometimes happens in the wonderful world of publishing. Things lose their schedule and they turn up a year later. And I said, well, I'm going to have to pull my story. I wanted to go in the fragile things, and I'm going to pull it. But I will write you something else. And he said, how can you write me something else? You don't have time. And I said, well, if I'm lucky, I'll write you something else. And I didn't really have an idea, but I was in an airport waiting for a plane. And it suddenly occurred to me that it would be really interesting to try and write a short story in the form of answers to a questionnaire where you didn't know what the questions were. And this is the kind of thing which, if you're an author, you go, and you pull out your computer and you start typing. And then they board you on the plane, and you're sitting there counting the seconds until they say you may now use electronic WhatsApp. And you pull out your computer and you keep typing. And then you get into some airport somewhere and you run until you can find a socket to plug in your nowadays computer so that you can keep typing. And I wrote this at Whiteheat. And it's a story narrated by a young lady named Jemima. And it's called